Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 2025 5-Star Grand Prix preview and predictions here on the YouTube channel, as well as the 5-Star Joshi Show. Just like every year, I am here to talk and break down the entire tournament, and it wouldn't be right if I did it alone. So I had one of my good friends join me, none other than my good friend 6-Star, who's back on the channel, back on the show for the first time in a long time. 6-Star, welcome back.
I'm happy to be back. This is where I got my start in all forms of Joshi content. So happy to be here to talk about wrestling with, of course, you, Scotty, one of my favorite people in the entire Joshi scene, my goat, my man, one of my best friends. So happy to talk about some tournament wrestling with you. This will actually be the first thing that goes out that airs my thoughts on the 5-Star Grand Prix. I've barely even tweeted about it. So
That's exciting, obviously. We'll break down the format and everything, and I'll let 6-Star share the thoughts that I know you have on those. But before we get there, a few plugs along the way. First up, if you want to hear me talk a little differently about the 5-Star Grand Prix and a cool preview, check out Stardom Quest. I was able to join Dylan and Alex as I do every year to talk about the tournament. We had a lot of fun, just kind of going back and forth on certain things. So definitely check that out. That's on all podcast platforms. On Thursday, I'm going to get 6-Star's plug in here now. I'm going to be joining a 6-Star hosted special stream over on the Late Night Grin, talking not only the 5-Star Grand Prix, but the Dreamstar Grand Prix as well. Lyric will also be joining us. I'm very excited to be part of that. I'll let 6-Star get into more of that at the end of the show, just so you can have an idea of what we're doing. But it wouldn't be right if I didn't do some cheap press for myself. If you're on the YouTube channel, check out the Beginner's Guide to Marigold 2025. It gives you an inside look on the promotion if you are trying to get into it, following their first anniversary show a few months ago, as well as the Corkin and with the Dreamstar coming up. And if you are a Stardom fan, there's no better place to go than to check it out, as I broke down Saya Kamatani versus Natsupoi from Stardom Sapporo Rendezvous 2025. Proud of both of those videos. It's been a busy week. Starts a busy week, starts a busy time. The next 2 months, I am putting up at least 25 daily reviews. Then there's other stuff. So let's lock in, folks. It's the beauty of tournament season. And I couldn't ask anyone better than my good friend 6-Star to join me to break down the 5-Star. If you could figure it out where the 6-Star name comes from, comes with it, shouts out. But here we go. Let's get into it now, shall we? The 5-Star Grand Prix 2025. For those who don't know, maybe you're just jumping in now, you're learning through this video, which if you've picked us, thank you so much for doing so. This year's tournament will be a 32-person field breaking down into 4 blocks, much like last year, but 4 extra wrestlers. The tournament will be many, 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 many dates. As you can see here, the red stars and blue stars broken down into each section here. Lots of shows. Then there will be a bracket style tournament at the end, which we'll be talking about here as well. I think that kind of takes a big change up on the overall tournament. So for each block, the top 3 will make it out. 3 from A in the blue side, 3 from B in the blue side, 3 from A in the red side. You get the point. And they'll fight it out on the 20th at Corrigan Hall before the semifinals. The block finals are taking place the same night as the final on August 23rd at Oda Ward. So before we get into the blocks themselves, 6-Star, I have to ask you, 1 out of 10, what's your hype level for the 5-Star Grand Prix? And 2, how do you feel about the change in the blocks once again? Obviously, last year was the first year of 4 blocks. Now this year goes from 28 to 32 participants.
you know, on a scale of 1 to 10, I feel like I might have to flip the answers, for these questions real quick. So I might have to
Okay.
start with your second question. That is, I'm not happy that we're maintaining a 4-block format. The worst G1 in history did the 4-block format, and the worst 5-star Grand Prix in history did the 4-block format. And it's just, I think it's too much. And I'm saying this as a completionist. I watch everything. Scotty, I have watched, and you know this, just about every single house show Stardom has done this year. Because I love watching the promotions I love. You know, I love watching promotions with the wrestlers I love. But I just think that this is, and I've said this to you, Scotty, it's too many cooks. I think there's too many cooks in the kitchen, to be honest. Not only with the 4-block thing, but 32. It's too many people for a tournament that's supposed to be the grand culmination of the year. You know, it's the big part of the year in terms of what you're getting from work rate, what you're getting from the push and the promotion for the importance. It's the most important thing in the company is winning the 5-star Grand Prix, or at least it used to be. And it sets up not just the rest of your calendar year. Again, historically, I mean, wasn't like this last year, and there's a good chance it will be like it this year. But it, in years past, has set up the rest of the year. Has set up the main event of the big show, Dream Queendom. It set up the stars to win the 5-star in the next year, and it's just, in order to do that, you need to have a field that feels important, that feels grand even. And as happy as I am that a bunch of rookies are getting the opportunity to get these reps in, having rookies get reps in important tournaments like this is really like a really cool thing. I think it loses some of its grandiose, it loses some of its flair, it loses some of its importance when basically the entire roster is in the tournament. When there's no kind of urgency to get into the tournament, there's no kind of urgency to win an eliminator to enter a block, you know?
Yeah.
And because of that, and because of this 4-block format, which again I just don't think works, it hinders my hype a bit for the 5-star Grand Prix. That being said, I still love the 5-star Grand Prix because it's tournament season, and despite the inflated blocks and block sizes, I still am looking forward to what the blocks will produce, especially in those playoffs and in the finals. So I'd say I'm at a 7 right now, a comfortable 7.
That's a good number.
I think if we just had 2 strong blocks of 10 each or 12 each even, I think we could be looking at a really, really, really good tournament. I mean, obviously Stardom has the roster, but I think, like I've said a few times now, just too many cooks. I think it's a bit inflated, it's a bit overinflated, and I think it'll be to its detriment. And that said, I still think that it'll be a very fun tournament to watch if things, you know, knock on wood, go well for everybody involved.
Yeah, I think my whole conversation point with this tournament is once you made the Cinderella a rookie tournament, it opened the doors for everyone to have to be in the 5-star. And I think that's the biggest, I don't want to say problem because it's not a problem. Like obviously it's very cool that all these wrestlers get the opportunity to shine, right? I think that is something everyone can agree on. But over a 13-day span, there are 8 matches every single show, at least for the most part, except for maybe 1 or 2. And I think based on last year, right, it's hard to have full trust. I think that's my biggest problem right now. I will give the credit to this year's tournament. It is more spread out, right? Last year we had the one super block, as everyone remembers, and then it was like a little bit here and there. Blue Stars, for the most part, was really tough. This year it feels more spread. There's a lot of positivity at the top of each block that I think will make each one exciting. And then there is the lower parts that you kind of have to be like, okay, we'll wait and see. But I agree with you. 4 blocks isn't the best path. I didn't like it when the G1 did it. I don't like it when Stardom does it. Like, it's not my preference. I prefer 2 blocks. I will always prefer 2 blocks. If you want to do the playoffs at the end, okay, fine. That is what New Japan has started doing with the 2 rounds. It gives some bigger matches and so on and so forth. I can deal with that. But for me, it comes down to the block size more than anything else. I think you're right. Had you done 24 wrestlers in 2 blocks, that would have been something. Obviously, more matches, more singles matches, and so on. Or you just do 20, the 20 of the best. If you do 20 of the best of this current crop right here and you cut 12, it is going to be an absolutely incredible tournament. And I'm not saying this tournament can't be good. I think it can be. I think it will be for the most part because the highs are going to be high. You know, there's always highs in the 5-star. And I think this year's has a chance to be better than last year's, even though we had that super block. It's just the conversation point of what do you do when there's so much going on? And the best way I've said this is if you follow like baseball or something, most people don't watch 162 games because there's playoffs at the end. You follow your team and that's that. There's no reason anyone shouldn't follow your favorite wrestler and just watch the tournament, the bracket style tournament at the end. You know, it's hard for me to tell everyone you should watch every single match on every single show because at the end of the day, there is no way. There's just no way every match is going to be great. But I'm going to because that's what I do.
Same.
6 stars going to because that's what 6 does. And also, I'm doing reviews for this show, so like I've signed up for that. And I'm excited because even the people I'm doubting, which we'll talk about, maybe they have a breakout performance. Maybe they have a showing that you didn't expect. So that's kind of me keeping the positive turn on this. That being said, we have 13 dates in less than a month. The tournament starts on the 27th and it will end on August 23rd. So it's a lot of dates. Mostly every other, but there are some dates where it's split block, including the opening night, which has 16 matches. It's a lot. It's a lot, folks. That's the one night that it's going to be hard to, I think, really feel the greatness of this tournament because everything's going to have, like, you can't give everything time, you know? So we're going to go over the schedule here in a little bit. And I'm going to shout out my boy Dylan for putting together an incredible schedule. We'll talk about that here in a second. But we are going to do a block by block breakdown. We're going to talk about each wrestler, our thoughts on their tournaments. Some may be longer talks, some may be shorter. But that is what we're going to do. And the only place we should start, of course, is Red Stars A. Red Stars A, I have walked away saying it is, a lot of people have called it the worst block. I am not going to say that because, again, I think the highs of this block are really high. You have Saya Kamatani leading the way. You have Hanan, who is obviously a favorite, I think, this year. You have May Sarah, who is fantastic. Those 3 alone really guarantee you some greatness. Then you have someone like Yuna Mizumori, who really steps up, right? Yuna Mizumori is awesome. You have Azusa Nami, who's awesome. You have Lady C, who's had some great showings this year. And then you have Waka, who listen. I'm going to be honest, I'm perfectly honest. I am not excited for her tournament. I have not loved her work really since she won finally, which was 2 years ago now. I think it was 2 years ago now, 2023. That being said, treating it fresh. We're going in fresh. She's not going to get a lot of wins. In this block, she's mostly going to lose. That is her reality. And that's fine. That's why she's here. It's okay. But again, when me and Six Star talk about the size of this tournament, you look at someone like Waka Tsukiyama and you say, I don't know. You know, I think that's, part of the problem. But we'll give our thoughts on her. And then of course, I'm the elephant in the room here. I haven't said her name yet. The returning former World of Stardom champion, Bea Priestley, joins Stardom for the first time since 2021, which is pretty crazy. Obviously, after leaving WWE after being released. So her addition to Stardom is a fascinating one that I'm not going to guess on yet. I don't know what Bea Priestley looks like at this point of her career. I'm going to be perfectly honest. So treating that with fresh eyes. But 6, you look at this block. I've kind of said my thoughts. What excites you about this block? What concerns you about this block? And so on.
Listen, Hanan, Kamatani, Maesera, Inaba, and Unimon Graps. That's got 6-star written all over it. Let's be so honest right now. Bunch of wrestlers I love. Again, when I say, even though my excitement is minimized by the size of the blocks, you still are going to get to see amazing matches between amazing wrestlers, which is why I can't say that like the 5-star is going to be a dud or I'm going to hate it, despite the fact that I hate this block format with all of my heart. I'm really looking forward to, again, the ladies I just said. Lady C, fine addition, fine addition to be in this block. I think she's had some pretty good performances as of late. I don't have, I'm not going to sit here and be like, I'm eager with anticipation
Right.
I eagerly anticipate seeing Lady C Graps. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you, the people at home. But I think in that field of the women I just stated, I think they're going to have good, I think they're all going to have fun to passable matches with her.
Yeah.
And then there's the 2 I haven't said yet, and I'll be as nice as I can be. I'll be critical though. I'll be honest. I had a lot of faith in Waka Tsukiyama, like 2-3 years ago. Listen, I'm a Kozawan girly. I know this about myself, and anyone who flies the Cosmic Angel flag, I believe in. That said, I can't say that she's particularly moved me in the last 2 years of her work, and that's not because she left Cosmic Angels. It's not. Now, crazy coincidence that timing aligns. Hey, 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 hey. I'm not saying anything, but with my objective eye here, is at least objective as one can be. I understand wrestling as a subjective medium. Is she just hasn't done anything to impress me. She's actually done the opposite. I've been very soured on her performances. Like I said, I've watched just about every house show, give or take, a few over the last few weeks. But and it can be difficult sometimes for me, to be honest, when I watch her wrestle. And I'm worried that not only, again, I want Waka to have a great tournament. She's in there with some amazing wrestlers, and I'm sure she will be putting everything that she can into this tournament. I'm sure and tournaments, things like the 5-star are also great opportunities for growth. I'm not going to write Waka out here yet. What I will say is, going into the tournament, I can't put aside everything I've seen from Waka and have a hope that she will overperform or over-deliver based on those expectations.
Sure.
I've seen what she has done and what she's capable of, and that's not something that I particularly am interested in seeing. Will I see it nonetheless because I'm insane and a completionist? Absolutely. But that doesn't necessarily mean I'm looking forward to those matches. That said, I hope they're good because I will be watching them. If every match was good, I'd be so happy, everybody. I don't want a single match I watch during 5-star season to be bad. I'm not even saying that Waka's going to have bad matches. All I'm saying is I don't have high expectations for her and her performance. I'm also worried because this tournament's so big and there's so many singles matches happening that some of these ladies are definitely might view the match with Waka as a night off.
Yeah, that's
which,
definitely gonna happen.
And especially where you put it on the card,
it's gonna be first or second every time.
And it can get really scary there. And that part's not Waka's fault. It's not. But am I excited for a Waka 5-star? No. Am I?
You've given Waka more time than everyone else.
I did give Waka way more time than everybody else.
Yeah,
that is true. I was holding on to those Waka.
You haven't even talked about B yet.
I was kind of hoping to avoid that, but you brought it up. No part of me wanted to watch B. Priestley wrestle in 2025. I haven't seen B.
Oh
Priestley
man,
wrestle
that's
in so
harsh.
long. I think the last time I watched B. Priestley wrestle is when I was doing my All of Stardom catalog, like when I was watching All of Stardom back a few years ago.
Probably the
Um,
Utami match, no?
yes,
The Utami
that,
title match. It was the best match of her career, as far as I'm concerned.
yeah,
It was also
and
her last match in Stardom.
and I just listen when she got released or left. I don't remember. I think she got released.
She left Stardom.
Oh no, I'm talking about
Oh, she
the
got
World
released
Wrestling
by
Federation.
WWE. Yeah,
When
yeah.
she left the World Wrestling Federation, I knew she was gonna haunt one of the Joshi promotions I watch, and like, I was never gonna win. I was never gonna win, was I?
You were
I was
so
hope.
much more welcoming to Waka.
I'm not looking forward to any B
Uh,
Priestley match. I know some of these women are gonna treat it like a big deal, and I'm sure they will give
She's
her a
got some big
pass.
matches in this tournament.
I think they're gonna give her some passable to good to possibly even bordering great matches. That said, I don't
Mhm.
want to watch B Priestley wrestle. It's like watching a piece of cardboard in the river.
Oh, don't get
Um,
mean. Don't get mean.
you can cut that. You can.
I'm not cutting anything.
Oh, okay. I don't care. I won't be meaner than that though. It's just
Uh,
not for me, and I'm just I don't want to see this. You know, I don't want to see
yeah.
this, and no part of me
I
wants to see this.
So my first thing I'll say is I think an open mind when it comes to B is a smart thing, for everyone, naturally. She has surprised before, like I'm saying. Now, do I expect her to have a breakout great top of the line tournament? No, I don't. I don't know the last time I saw her wrestle. Um, that being said, that being said, I'm wishing for the best. I think for me, when it comes to this block, the basis here is it's a Saya Kamatani walkthrough.
Mhm.
Is that fair? Like,
Yeah,
Saya Kamatani is beating everyone besides B on the final night. That's how her tournament's going. And Saya Kamatani has given us this great story to Tokyo Sports. I don't know if you've seen it, Six. Um, she didn't want to do the 5-star.
what a beast.
She didn't want to do the 5-star, but Taro Okada doubled her salary. So she's doing it, which is
Real worker.
admittedly so sick. Like, what a story to run with. And if that's the story we're going with, it should make everyone even more determined to beat her. So I think Saya Kamatani for everyone will be their biggest night. I have more higher hopes for this block than most people. And again, it's probably because I'm reviewing every night. I think B can have a really solid match with someone like a May Sarah because May Sarah's going to bump her ass off, you know? Like that's what she's going to do. That's what she does. Her and Hana could have a really solid match. And obviously the big one with Saya Kamatani, she's going to go all out for. I don't know what Waka Tsukiyama's best match is. I don't even know how much time she'll get in most of her matches. And I think that's the bigger problem. Like, will she be able to step up? I don't know. That being said, I want to ask you, Six, because we'll do this for each block. Who are the three you expect to get out of this block?
Saya, Hanan, B Priestley. Unfortunately,
We are in complete agreement. I would
now,
love May Sarah to get through.
yeah, now if I was
Yeah,
booking, May Sarah or Unimon are going through, but that's
May
because I
May
know ball.
May Sarah versus Saya Kamatani is my most anticipated match for this block as well.
Hmm.
I think that's the one that I really circle. It's happening at a pretty good venue, if I remember correctly. Let me double check. Actually, it's either that or May Sarah versus Hanan because I've been waiting for that for 2 years. That is a match I've been waiting for 2 years. It is one of my most hyped matches possible. So I'm hoping that delivers. Sai Kamatani versus Hanan, for those who are wondering, happens at Cork and Hall. So obviously a massive deal there. Cork and Hall is kind of the place. Oh, by the way, Sai Kamatani versus May Sarah at the Yokohama Budokan. Like, come on,
Yeah, so
that's
Saya,
gonna be the big one.
yeah, Saya and Sarah was also my most my like biggest match in
Yeah.
this block, like my most circled one.
Hey, we can be in agreement.
That said, and maybe it's because I'm sick and twisted. Unimon and Naba graphs, I'm
Nah,
so
that's not sick and
ridiculously
twisted. That's
locked
so
in
real.
for. I'm so
Yeah, that's real.
ridiculously locked in for.
Yeah, the hot take, the best in Naba sister. Anyways, we move forward. Red Stars B, for many people, the best block in the tournament, of course, led by your Wonder of Stardom champion, Starlight Kid, who is, of course, accompanied by her ex high speed allies slash rivals, Azumi and Natsupoi. The rest of the block, of course, includes Cinderella tournament winner Sayaka Carrara, first timer Rian, first timer Rina, and former World of Stardom champion Natsuko Tora, and of course, JTO's Tomoka Inaba. Now, this block I know everyone's excited for. Obviously, 6-star is Natsupoi's here. You wouldn't expect anything less. But my favorite Stardom wrestlers in this block too, 6. Do you know that?
Yes, I did.
Big Rena's here, and this is going to be her return and her debut, and I'm very excited about it. This tournament's really good. I mean, this block, I should say. This block is very good. There's Red Stars B for the second year in the row. On paper, looks like the best block. Last year was undeniable. This year, there is some debate. I think Blue Stars A definitely gives it a run for its money, which we'll talk about here in a second. But overall, love this block. And to break down each wrestler, I kind of just want to start with Rina. We'll go left to right here. I think it goes without saying, like, Rina's year has been incredible. Rina's past 2 years have been incredible. The rematch with Starlight Kid is one I am just so excited for. That's one of my favorite matches of the entire year. And I think she's going to have a great tournament. Rian, hey, first time in, this is a chance to improve, to grow, right? The scary part, like you talked about with Walker earlier, she's probably going to be the night off for a lot of people, but you kind of hope she gets a big showing, you know, with someone like a Carrara at least, maybe an Osby or Kid or Poi give her something. I think Rina and Rian and Carrara, they don't really know what an off switch is because they're so young, you know, so like they're just going to go out there and put on a show. The best they can. Carrara is obviously very interesting. Cinderella tournament winner this year. Challenge for the World of Stardom Championship. Challenge for the Future Stardom Championship on Monday and lost. So very interesting pathway she's had heading into this. Azumi, as of this recording, your New Japan Strong Women's Champion. Maybe that changes on Thursday when she goes one-on-one with Bozilla. But for now, obviously, through the past number of years, Azmi's been one of the more consistent wrestlers in the tournament. Same can be said for the next two, Starlight Kid and Natsupoi, your two headliners, I'd say. Starlight Kid, obviously the Wonder of Stardom champion, has had a great year. And then, as I said in my Check It Out video, which you could check out right now on the YouTube channel, Natsupoi, aka Stardom's new ace,
Yes,
is here
sir.
to lead the way.
Yes,
Obviously,
sir.
I'm very excited for their tournaments, their respective tournaments. I think Tomoki Naba, also very exciting. She had a great tournament last year. And then Natsuko Tora returns to the tournament this year after missing it last year as the World of Stardom champion. She'll play, obviously, the top heel of the unit. 6-star, let me ask you, keeping Poi to the side for a second, how excited are you for everyone in this block, not just Poi?
Scotty.
All right, you can talk about Poi. Go ahead. I don't care.
Scotty.
You're gonna explode if you don't.
No, Scotty. Yeah, I was gonna talk about Poi anyways. I'm gonna be honest. I was gonna build up to it like a bit. But I'm just gonna this block, like you said, on paper is the best block between this and Blue A, which I agree with you there. It's those two. For me, for my taste, my sentiments, it's Red Stars B. Is the best block. It has like so many of my favorite current favorite Stardom wrestlers. Well, I'll start off with I think someone who is like has a very, very strong case for Stardom's current best active wrestler. Rina has had a tremendous year, and I think so. Rina has been good for many years. She's been good since she was literally a child. She's been a great wrestler since she was literally a child, and for her to have the opportunity to grow as a wrestler in this tournament, because the thing about the 5-star, and it doesn't matter if it's, and again, setting aside my feeling towards it, it doesn't matter if it's a 2-block or a 4-block. GP tournaments like this, these kind round robin tournaments are so important for wrestlers to grow, because it gives them a chance to have big matches regularly. And that is the next step in Rena's development. Rena's already an amazing wrestler, and now she's going to learn how to continue to refine that part, all those part of her tool set. So like Rena is one of the tournaments I'm most excited for. I think I arguably can put her in like my top 3 tournaments I'm most excited for.
I agree.
Rion, listen, like I said, I'm happy that rookies get this chance. She'll improve. You know, there's a lot of people who really like Rion. It's a little bit of a meme right now. I'm not going to get into that meme.
I will say, giving her the opportunity to learn with the high speed trio, especially, will be good for her. I think that's kind of where her, you know, we could talk about what the high speed title is now. Not a real thing, but kind of is. You're welcome.
What is the high speed title?
You're welcome, everybody. By the way, without this video, I don't think that belt's happening right now. Just saying. I'm just saying. A title match came 2 weeks after I released it. Coincidence? I think not. Continue.
You know, I'm always excited to see. Listen, for those who don't know, and I'll say it, I haven't said it on the 5-star in forever. My favorite thing to do in Joshi wrestling is watch house shows and watch rookies improve. It's my favorite form of wrestling media wrestling consumption. I love it. I love it because I'm sick and twisted. But so with that said, I of course look forward to seeing Rion's tournament. I want to see what she does, how she grows. I'm not going to sit here and act like she's the rookie I'm most excited for in this tournament. I mean, I have rookies who are not in this tournament that I probably more excited to watch than Rion, but that's not an indictment on Rion. Like, she's still growing, she's still learning. It's just where my own personal interests lie. That said, I'm not trying to, like, I want people to know that I am looking forward to Rion's tournament. She is probably the weakest link in this block, but that's not me dissing her. That's just because she's inexperienced, and that this will be a really good opportunity for her to grow. One thing that can be said about the increased size, despite the critiques I have for it, is that it does give women like Rion more opportunities to grow, more opportunities to get her her feet under her in big matches, and that is really important. Sayaka Kurara. The daughter of Tam herself. Of course, listen, that's my girl. One thing about me, I will never speak ill. I will never speak ill of a cosmic angel. I will never speak ill of a cosmic angel. 2025 cosmic angels, I love you so much. I think she's awesome. I think she's had a really interesting and kind of weird year. I think she's been placed in weird booking positions outside of Tam's retirement stuff that I don't think were ultimately serviceable for her. I don't think it helped her development. And I'm hoping that this 5-star gives her the opportunity to get back on track, because I'm saying as someone who, again, I've watched, if you're not Scott E Wrestling or one of the Stardom Quest people,
I don't watch your show anymore.
So if you're not Scotty Wrestling, you definitely haven't seen more Sayaka Kurara matches than I have. And so when I say I've noticed a dip in her development, I mean that, because I've watched her wrestle. I don't think that's her fault. I don't think she's been put in the position to grow.
A lot of pressure at once. Yeah.
Exactly. You put a lot of pressure on her. I think that this tournament should be a step back in the right direction for her. That said, despite that dip, I don't think she's bad. I don't think she's like gotten like a lot worse. I just think that she's like bad now. I just think that her development has taken a turn that it didn't need to, because of the added pressure of being placed in such a prominent position as a rookie. That said, she's gonna have an awesome tournament. I am especially looking forward to seeing Sayaka Kurara against this next person I'm going to talk about. I'm going to skip over a few people and I'll give it to him at the end. Trust me, it's better that way. I am very excited to see Saika Kurara against Tomoka Inaba. I love the Inabas so much. I love them so much. And to see Kurara and Inaba wrestle is something I think is going to be really fun. I think that Inaba is going to get the best out of Sayaka Kurara in a lot of different ways. Obviously, so will the rest of the block, but I'm always looking forward to see the younger wrestlers interact, right? Whether they be rookies or new gens. Natsuko Tora, I have been known to not be the biggest fan of Natsuko Tora in the past. That said, she's had some very good performances in the last year. I think she definitely earned herself a spot in this 5-star. And I think that playing the big bad heel in this block is going to be really helpful for her. There's going to be a lot of, I'm not trying to say everyone has the same match style, but there's going to be a lot of similar match styles happening. And I think Natsuko Tora breaks that up in this block a lot.
For sure.
I think she's especially just going to ragdoll the new gens and the rooks, and I think that's going to be awesome. And of course, the Holy Trinity, my high-speed trio. The women that made Stardom what it was in 2021 and 2022. I mean, obviously there were more people involved, but so much of what Stardom was seen, so much of that people that brought people into Stardom was the high-speed division and was the high-speed trio. Of course, yeah. I want to start with Azumi, who is Azumi has had a interesting year. I think she's excelled in tag matches. I think you'd agree with me, Scott, that some of her singles performances have at times left a bit to be desired. I don't think I'm not like dissing her for that. I think that she's been finding herself in a new interesting position, being the second of a new faction and trying to, acclimate to being to acclimating that character, acclimating her wrestling style to that. That said, Azumi has never had a bad 5-star GP. So, and I'm not going to start betting against her in 5 stars now. Especially not when she's with the two women who are undoubtedly her best opponents. I'm going to move on to one of the block leaders next, and that is our Wonder of Stardom champion, Starlight Kid, who has had such an amazing 2025. Just like a phenomenal 2025. And persevering still. She's earned her stripes. She's earned her title. She's earned herself a position at the top of the card, at the top of her faction. And I think that she is going to continue her streak of awesome 5 stars and have a tremendous 5-star this year. I mean, look at the lineup. Let us literally look at the material. Scotty, can we zoom in on that picture? Let's look at the material one more time. Like look at them. Look at this. Look at this. Look at these women all side by side. And of course, at the top of it all, the ace, the face, and the woman that runs the place. I'm talking about big freaking Natsupoi, who is having the best stretch of her career since 2023 in an in-ring point of view and character point of view and booking point of view. She has been on top of the world. The day that we're recording this, I literally have just watch Natsupoi for Saya Kamatani, and oh my goodness, you could not have a woman who feels even like more of a top of your card if you tried. And this is the role that she has been preparing herself for, whether intentionally or unintentionally, for the last 3 years. The last 3 years since joining Cosmic Angels, it's been leading to this, to Natsupoi leading the charge, not just for her block, but for her promotion and becoming the top babyface. And I think that her performance in this 5-star will be better than every other performance she's had in her 5 stars. And she's had amazing tournaments. Don't you ever forget the amazing performances that she was giving people in 2022, 2023, 2024. She is a phenomenal wrestler. Phenomenal. And has been year in, year out an MVP of this tournament. And I think this one will be her best to date. And let's again look at all of the women that she has to be able to support her in doing that. Natsupoi Rina is a match I have very much circled. I think that's probably going to be my favorite match in this block. But the high-speed trio all wrestling each other is going to be great. Natsupoi and Kid had an amazing match in December, and they're going to have another amazing match here where I think Natsupoi gets her win back. But that said, I'm very much looking forward to this block. I talked a lot about blue.
So Natsupoi versus Rina is your match of the block?
Absolutely.
All right. Great hype for what I think is an amazing block and a block that deserves all the hype in the world. I think my favorite match or my top pick for favorite match in this block, I like to look at, the bigger shows, obviously, kind of like to pick and choose there. I don't want to pick Kid versus Rena again because I that's my obvious choice, and that's a rematch. So I like to look at kind of the rest and what lines up. You look at opening night, Starlight Kid versus Tomoki Nawa jumps off the page. That is a match I've been waiting for truly all year. They've been teasing it all year. And I think it's one that will absolutely be fantastic. I think Rita and Natsupoi is an incredible shout, so I appreciate you picking that one. So I'm going to look to Korakuen Hall, and I'm going to pick Azumi versus Rina to follow up. I think that's a perfect match for Korakuen Hall. Feels like a perfect match for Rina to maybe get her biggest win of the tournament. I could see Rina get a big win over Azumi, and that can ultimately be a decider in the end because 6-star, here it comes. Here are my top 3 making the next round. Starlight Kid, Natsupoi, and Rina. Not Azumi, but Rina. I have Rina making the big step, shocking the world, and moving forward. And here's why. Here's why. The final day of block action. You have Starlight Kid versus Natsupoi. I don't think that affects their standings in the end. But
No,
what I do think does, because Rina will be off that day, what I do think does is Azumi versus Sayaka Karara. I see Sayaka Karara
with the
shocking the
upset.
world and taking out Azumi and eliminating her from the playoffs and putting Rina through. And I think that, my friends, is a perfect way to set that up. What is your top 3 for Red Stars B?
Scotty, it's the exact same 3.
You did right. You did right. We're on, hey, same page. But hey, let's kick it now over to the blue side of things. Blue Stars B. Of course, Yuri Hime qualified over Akira Kuragane and got the spot. So she will be in the tournament. She is joined by first time 5-star Grand Prix tournament entry Bozilla. First time 5-star Grand Prix entrant Aya Sakura. 2-time entrant Miyu Amasaki. Of course, then you have the returning Saida Sariano, Ami Sourei, who missed last year, of course, due to injury, and Ruaka. This block is a block made for certain people. Like, specifically, like, you look at this block, you're like, wow, they played the Saida strengths like you wouldn't believe,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And I think this block has a real chance to be a tournament stealer. I think there's a lot of exciting matchups from start to finish here. Obviously, you're going to have Bozilla here, who is the ultimate difference maker, I think, for the overall block. You're going to see a lot of brand new opponents, brand new matches for her throughout this side of the tournament. And then I think you have some easy picks in terms of who may advance. I'm obviously very excited for Aya Sakura's first tournament. If anyone listens to my show, you know how excited I am for her and her overall growth. I think she is fantastic and continues to grow as a wrestler. You have Sari Ano kind of leading the way, I'd say. I think she's kind of your, obviously, your main event top star locked in. And then you have someone like Ami Sourei who's looking for redemption after missing last year's tournament. We don't have to break down every wrestler here, but 6-star, what excites you about Blue Stars A and some matches that may be, this is the powerhouse block in many ways
Mm-hmm.
with the likes of Bozilla and Ida and Ami and Ruaka. So I'm excited for this. I think everyone's gonna have a chance to shine. I think everyone's gonna have a chance to step up. And I don't really think there's many nights off. Listen, I think Yuri Hime is one of the better rookies in the company.
Shout out.
Especially from this year. I was happy listen, I know a lot of people want Akira in. I had no problem if either one got in, but I think Yuri is the right choice right now.
I
Um,
agree.
And I'm excited for her, and I'm excited for Aya. I think Aya is going to have a real breakout. I think I see some matches here. You know, her match with Sayori is one that I'm really kind of excited for. I think Sayori. I know some people are up and down with Sayori. She's one of the best tournament wrestlers in all of wrestling.
Also, cries. She's fucking awesome.
Oh, she is awesome. Her match with Starlight Kid was fantastic. But I know some people are on and off with her. When it comes to tournament time, she doesn't miss. And that's why I'm very excited that she's in this block and kind of being the leader of this block. So 6-star. This is definitely a mixed bag here, but an exciting mixed bag. Who are you looking forward to the most? And really, how do you feel about the block as a whole?
I'm gonna say one thing, which is not what I'm looking forward to the most, but I gotta give her her tens. And you kind of alluded to this. Saya Ida is definitely gonna have the best the best tournament in this block because this is a block. This like what happened is a Saya Ida super fan. A Saya Ida super fan was meditating, closing their eyes, and snuck their mind into Taro Okada's subconscious and said, "Book this block, book this block, book this block, book this block."
It's only missing like Yuna.
Really. Oh, ooh,
for the powerhouses.
Ooh, hold up! If we would have traded like
her, and I don't know how.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I want it, but my thing is,
I love Miyu though.
I think the person I'm most excited for is Miyu Amasaki.
Shouts out, Big Kev.
That's my
we love Miyu.
It's her or Aya Sakura, to be honest, and I think they're both gonna have really tremendous blocks. I mean, I think there's some new gens and rooks here I'm really a big fan of. And obviously I'm interested to see what Bozilla looks like. Bozilla, awesome wrestler, has the potential to be an awesome wrestler. I think
it's a fascinating tournament for her this year because a lot of her best matches in her, first year in Japan came against like, top of the line veterans, right? There's a lot of youth here. But I do think that if you're going to go youthful, you give her someone like an Ami, they're going to run into each other. You give someone like Sayori. Sayori's, that veteran I think you're looking for. Bozilla and Ida is going to be the most fascinating watch I think we've ever had because that is two powerhouses in very different forms, but awesome form. And I think those two have a chance to really steal it. Like, if you just let them do their thing, and if like Ida picks up Bozilla just for the imagery of that, people are going to scream, It's like, that's the beauty of this block, but I'll let you keep going.
No, absolutely. I'm right there with you in regards to Ida and Bozilla. I think that can be a really beautiful match if they let it be. But yeah, no, Miyu Amasaki has really found this groove for herself in the last year and a half.
Miyu, I believe her name is.
5-star. It's true. Many like 5-star Miyu. That match is awesome, by the way. I don't care what anyone.
It is awesome.
I remember. Not to bring up something from months ago when people were like, "That's the match that got 5 stars." I'm like, and yeah, it was. Cry about it.
It was just shocking. It was the first since like Utami and Shuri.
We're doing February discourse for the 5-star.
Yeah, that's how we do it, baby.
Oh, anywho, I think Miyu is gonna have a tremendous tournament. I think she's gonna grow a lot. I think we're gonna see. We've obviously seen the flash. I don't want to say flashes of greatness because Miyu Amasaki is great, but I think you get what I mean. We've seen flashes of a superstar in there.
Yeah.
A lot since and I think that this, for me, and this is like one of my boldest predictions, I think this is the breakout for Miyu finding that footing for herself. I think it's the breakout. I'm not saying that this tournament ends and she's like challenging for the Wonder and the World of Stardom belt by the end of the year, though she should.
She should challenge for the Wonder.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. What I'm saying is I think that this tournament is going to be the jumping off point for people. This is going to be the jumping off point when we go back in a year, 2 years, 3 years, when Miyu Amasaki is holding that 5-star Grand Prix trophy. We're going to go back to this tournament and say, this is when that started. This is when that train started getting rolling. And maybe it's not as soon as 1 or 2 years, probably 3 years at the earliest. Might be a bit more accurate, to be honest. I think at 3 years at the earliest is probably more accurate. But I think when we start seeing Miyu in that being considered as a big player, it's going to be all brought back to this. And I'm not going to take up too much more time, but I do want to, of course, say I'm really excited for Aya Sakura. She's I'm very, very like open about the fact that she's like, in my opinion, the best of Stardom's current crop of rookies. She's absolutely tremendous. What an amazing sense of like identity that she already has in her wrestling, which is something that for wrestlers often, like for rookies, that's the thing I see them usually struggle with the most. Even the most talented rookies, the thing that I often see them struggle with is finding that like identity in their wrestling style, and she's already been finding that. She's been made tremendous effort into like carving out a place for herself, carving out a blueprint for herself in her wrestling matches, and obviously, Hime is awesome. Probably my favorite of like this year's crop of rooks. And I'm really, really excited to see what a tournament looks like for her. I honestly, that you were saying at the beginning of this block analysis, I don't see there being very much nights off for any of these women. I think all of them will give a lot to each other.
There's a lot of wrestlers here that won't take the night off.
Yeah, I think a lot of that is the youth. A lot of that is the wrestlers. Like Saya Ida is an MVP. Doesn't matter. Yeah. She's not a new gen or a rook. She's gonna give a lot of effort to them. I think she's gonna give. I think she's gonna give at least one of the rookies the best match of their tournament.
Her and Yuri Hime excites me a lot based on their past, and they trained together.
Oh yes, you read them up. That's exactly what I was alluding to. I don't know what, but yeah, but shout out. I think it's gonna be fun. Ami Sore. I'll be honest. I was never huge on Ami Sore. I think she
looked good since she's come back.
She's impressed me more since return than she did prior to her injury. So I'm both holding out hope and skeptical at the same time. Skeptical because I've seen Ami Sore's worst habits, and I don't think she's fully gotten rid of all of them. But hopeful because she's still young, and I want to see her again. I say again, I want every wrestler I watch to be good. I want every match I watch to be good. I understand I am a hater, and I will hate I am a very strong hater for the wrestlers I very much dislike. But like, I'm not trying to hate on Ami Sore. I want her to have a tremendous tournament. I'm just saying the fact that I think she's been good since return, and I want to see more of that develop. And I'm also skeptical based off of what I've seen her do in the past, in her previous 5 stars, in her work prior to injury. And if she can get rid of those bad habits and keep in that upward trajectory, I think that she is going to have herself a very good 5-star, because this is a very good block for honestly, this is a very good block. I can see multiple women in here having a top 10 tournament, like a top 10 5-star 2025, if they all play, if the cards are played out right, because that's the kind of talent and style clashing that you want to see.
Absolutely. I'm excited for Ami. I think she's going to grow a lot now that she's back. Gets to grow through this tournament. I think there's a lot of matchups that fit well for her. Before we do the top 3, we'll do our most anticipated match of the block. 6-star, I'll let you go first.
Saori and Aya Sakura.
That takes place. Let me see where that takes place. Let me find it. That's Saori Miyamasaki. I should learn how to read. Saori versus Saida, by the way, opening night.
That's going to be so awesome.
That should be excellent. Why can't I find it?
If it makes you feel better, I also can't find it.
Oh, it is at the Kobe Arts Center. So that should be a lot of fun. Anyways, my pick for this block. It's a lot of different matches. I'm actually very moved by Saori versus Bozilla at the Korakuen. I think that's going to be really, really good. I think that's a good combo. However, and I think you're going to like this pick. You're going to like this pick, 6-star. I would like to get your full reaction. At the Yokohama Budokan, it'll be Saida going 1-on-1 with Aya Sakura. That is the one that jumps off the page to me. That is my favorite preferred match. Now, Now I will give my top 3 out of this block. I think this is the easiest top 3 to predict. Bozilla, Sariano, and Amisore.
Yeah. Yeah. Not to steal your thunder there, but
It's the
yeah.
easiest one. I don't think there's a lot of upset. But I would love Ida to get in. I'd love Amasaki to get in. I just don't see it happening.
I
Just based
think,
on where they want Ami to go.
yeah. And I don't see.
And I don't think Sayori should miss again this year.
No,
So
Sayori is not going to miss. Sayori's not going to
no,
miss. I mean, I
nor
could.
is Bozilla. I
No,
think.
my thing is, if there's going to be any of them that's an upset, I think Bozilla is the one that's there for me. But I just don't see Bozilla not.
No,
I think they're going to book her really strong and have her have an upset loss at a big show. But besides that, have a
absolutely,
really strong tournament. It would, yeah,
absolutely.
it would, and I think that upset loss should be decided.
I agree. That'd be real. I think it'd be big pop. She has the pin to do it too. And next up, the final block, Blue Stars B, of course, led by the best wrestler in the world today, the IWGP Women's Champion, the Sun God, Sari. But before we get to Sari, because I think that's kind of the main talking point here, obviously, let's talk about the rest of the block. You have Momo Watanabe, who could have a very interesting story in this tournament if they'd like to go along with the plan that many believe should be a plan for her. You, of course, have Hanako. You have the future Stardom champion Hina. You got Momo
Oh,
Kogo, Rana Yagami, Suzu Suzuki, and Konami. Um, Before we get to Saori, or before I get to Saori, because obviously I have a lot to say about Saori, I'll let Six Star go first.
mhm.
Kind of get your thoughts out overall on this tournament or this block, I should say. Once again, I think there's a lot to like here. I know a lot of people see it as the weakest, but you can never get me to doubt a block that has Sari giving probably 7 wrestlers their best match. And that's just how it goes, baby. But how are you feeling about Blue Stars B?
I think Blue Stars B has a lot of upside. I think
Me
it has
too.
a Red Stars. It has a Red Stars A effect where there's some obviously like weaker, very like I get
Sure.
why this one and that block are considered the weaker blocks.
Yeah.
I feel that way myself, despite the fact that our Lord and Savior herself is the front runner for this one here. Which I will hold back on saying some of my thoughts on her and allow you to take the lead on that one. So don't worry, I'm gonna let you do your thing.
Thank you.
That said, um, again, I don't want this block to be bad. I'm going to be watching all their matches, so I hope they're all good. Um, I I don't know if I should say I don't know. I don't think it is the strongest block that could have been booked. I think Sari's comments about um, the size of the size of the pool shines really brightly when you see the women that she's paired with in this block. And I'm not trying to say that to disparage or to shit on these women. Like, I'm really not. But if you would have said to me a year, 2 years ago, Cerie's going to be in the 5-star Grand Prix, this is not the block I would have imagined for her. And I don't think this is the block any of us would have imagined for her. And it's not the fault. Again, I'm not trying to blame the women involved. I just think it's a direction for the 5-star that I struggle with. And I talked about that at the beginning of the show. That said, again, I would like to say that I am still very excited for many matches that are going to be part of this block and for many of the women involved in this. Hina is what I want to go to first because I have been higher on Hina than most people have been for the last multiple years. I've been higher on Hina than others have been, and I feel very vindicated this year. I feel so vindicated. I think she's been awesome as future Stardom champion. I think she's had arguably the second best of the three sisters' future title reigns. And
I agree.
I think that her match formula of I'm gonna get my shit in and I'm gonna throw you around is gonna be awesome for this block.
Yeah.
I think there's some people that's gonna work with, and I think if she's given the respect she deserves, I don't think she's going to be treated like a night off by these ladies, despite the
Mhm.
fact that she's a future champion. I don't think that she's going to be given a night off. I think that
I,
I
I think she's
honestly,
the fourth best wrestler in this block.
yeah,
That's my hot
yeah,
take.
no, you're right, and you're right, and I know who
Most
the other
people will
three are, and I
disagree.
agree.
Oh, the other
They
three are
can
pretty easy to
disagree.
figure out.
They can disagree. And I guess that can give me that gets us a transition to a point I want to say is I have not been particularly moved by hate Konami.
Hmm.
Um, I just haven't been, and I think she's been at her best since her return to Stardom when she's in tag matches, and I
Yeah.
think that her best was when she was still Shuri's weed carrier, and I just don't really see myself particularly enjoying her tournament in a way that I would want to. That said, I hope to be wrong. I say
The
again, I
thing about
never want.
Konami, right, is it's in there. You've seen it before, right? It's different from some of the other people you've talked about in terms of not excited for their tournament. I think you're gonna know night one what kind of Konami we're getting. You know why? She faces the sun god. She's got no choice.
No
Either you
choice.
step up or step aside.
Here's the thing: if I'm not gonna do like this give up hope thing. I am just what I'm trying to say is I have watched a lot of Konami matches in the last year, and I've picked up on things, I've noticed things, and I'm not the biggest fan of the way that she wrestles right now. That's just gonna be honest. I don't think that she's as good as I don't think she's doing. She's not. This is not the peak of her powers. To your point,
No,
Scott,
no,
I've
no.
seen the peak of her powers. I have seen what she
Yeah.
is capable of. If she wants to give us that, I am
Oh
so
yeah. This
happy. I
block
am so happy.
instantly gets lifted.
Like my thing is, I'm not trying to shit on Konami. I am just
No.
using my objective analysis here, or subjective. I understand again, wrestling is subjective, but based off what I have seen,
Mhm.
based off of what I've seen in her best and what I've seen over her last year, I know what she is capable of, and I see
Yeah.
what she's been doing. And so, if she wants to have if she, I have full faith that she can have a good 5-star. I'm not writing her off, but
Mhm.
based off what I've seen,
Yeah.
I'm hesitant. I am skeptical. Similar to what I was saying with Ami Sourei, but inverted.
Yeah.
Um, uh, re, I was,
Rana, Momo,
Rana. There we go. I
Suzu,
kept trying to. I was
Hanako.
my brain kept saying Rion. Like it's not her name. Uh, Rana has been pretty good this year. Very big fan of what she's done this year. So I'm happy to see her here. I think she's gonna have at least 3 great matches or 3 good matches, probably closer to 4. To be honest with you,
Her and Hina should
I
be good.
I think her and Hina is gonna rule. I think her and Hina is gonna be. What night is that on? Because that could potentially be a barn burner for that night. Genuinely, because Hina's awesome, and I think I think Rana works perfectly to be plugged into Hina's match style right now.
That match takes place at KBS Hall, the home of Shuri versus Nazi Boy once upon a time.
Best match of the 2023 5-star. Nobody at me. Yeah, so that's in like the prettiest venue in professional wrestling. So that's probably going to be awesome, to be honest with you. But yeah, Suzu Suzuki. Oh my goodness, Suzu Suzuki, Momo, Sari. The 3 of the greatest
Hard to
women's
beat that
wrestlers.
top three, man.
Yeah.
You
Like
know.
that's why I'm not going to sit here and say Blue Stars B is going to be bad. Like despite it being a weaker block, it's still going to have amazing matches. It still has amazing
So
women.
so I do
And
have
that's
a bit for you before you continue. I feel like this block could use one more strong wrestler,
mm-hmm.
If only there was someone around to fit that spot. If only there was someone that's doing nothing other than a match in Sendai Girls during that time. I don't know. I don't know.
I
It
wonder.
escapes me. It escapes
or
me.
or maybe even a certain former IWGP Women's Champion.
Yeah, Listen,
If only.
she's getting surgery. She's getting surgery. No, I think she could have done the tournament. But there's at least reason there. I can't give you a reason for Hazuki, and it breaks me, for being quite honest.
Hazuki, put Hazuki in place of like, well, never mind. I'm not going to be mean. Put Hazuki in place of somebody here, and
Yeah.
this could easily have been the best block.
Oh, it would have
Dude,
been
like
something.
you could have replaced even one of the good wrestlers, and you say I'm getting Sareet versus Suzuki, and I'm like, that's the best block in the tournament. I don't care what anyone has to say.
That's the match I was hopeful for, and we're not getting it.
Yeah, that's
Thoughts
it.
on the last thoughts on Momo and Suzu. Sorry.
Shout out Momo.
She's
Both
still
of the
Momo.
Momos. Yeah. But shout out both the Momos. Specifically, shout out Momo Watanabe. She still rocks. Despite the fact that sometimes she sleepwalks, she still rocks.
I
And I'm
think
looking
she
forward to it.
has the highest potential to have the best match in block play.
Um,
Yokohama Budokan Sari versus Momo Watanabe is a thing that is happening. Sari has already said, I'm interested in one wrestler in this entire block, and it is her.
Yeah.
So,
no, I'm right there with you.
Yeah. That's not my pick, though. That's not my pick.
No. It's not my pick either, to be honest with you.
I think that's chalk. I don't want to chalk. I'm not here for chalk.
Really quickly, I just like to say, Momokogo, chill. I'm not gonna hate. I'm not gonna hate.
And
I like Momoko. So what are your thoughts on Sari and the 5-star Grand Prix, Scotty?
Yeah. Listen, I think Sari is going to show everyone why she is the best in the world at what she does. Every single match you see here may not be one that necessarily jumps off the page when you were thinking a Sari tournament, right? You said that at the beginning. But she's going to give arguably all 7 wrestlers the best match they could have in this tournament. I think Sari is going to give it her all against Tanaka. Give it her all against Hina. Give it her all against Momoko. We've already seen her give it her all against Rana Yagami. Let's run that back. Her and Suzu is going to be one hell of a match, and I think she gets the best out of Konami on night 1. There's a reason I always call this woman the best in the world. It's because she flat out is. Doesn't matter on gender, does not matter what part of the world. She is simply the best. What Sari did last year in her first tournament back since coming back to Japan was better everyone around her. She's going to do the same thing this year because she's the best. She is the sun god, and I'm very excited to see what she does. If she has the best match in this tournament, no one's going to be shocked. She has the best 2 matches in this tournament, no one's going to be shocked. That's just what she does. I'm very excited for what she's going to bring to the table. I have no doubt in my mind that she is advancing, and I'm going to make this simple. I think it's her, Momo Watanabe, and Suzuki. I think it's enough. Enough is enough with keeping Momo down. I'm done. It's time for Momo Watanabe to get some sort of push, and it has to start here. Hina is the underdog, like that dark horse pick, I think. And that brings me to my pick for my most looked forward match.
Wait, Scotty, real quick. May I sing the gospel of the sun god for just a second?
Go right ahead.
For just a second. Sari, for the last 2 years, without a shadow of a doubt, without any asterisk, without any limitation, without any condition, has flat out been the best wrestler in the world. She said to the Stardom roster, about the women in her blog, that none of them understand what wrestling really is, and that her vision of wrestling must prevail, must defeat the vision of Stardom in order for Joshi to move forward, in order for Joshi to be taken seriously. And that's something that she says and backs up. Because as someone who has been actively part of the Joshi internet community for the last 3 years, nothing, and I mean nothing, got people to pay attention to actual Joshi the way Sari has. With Julia, people just watched clips and looked at photos and entrances. With Mayu, people kind of agree she's awesome without really watching her matches. With Utami, people love the way that she looked and loved the matches she had a few years ago without watching anything beyond that. Sari has brought people to the dance in a way that no other Joshi wrestler has been able to. And something that can only be likened to the greatness of Kazuchika Okada and the Rise in 2016 for New Japan. What he did for New Japan, Sari has done for all of Joshi pro wrestling. From her produce shows to the independents to Senjo to Marigold and to Stardom now. More eyes have not been on this product of Joshi wrestling as a whole, and that is because Sari has been a part of it. Sari's vision, and it is up to her. It is up to her to continue to elevate the entire world of Joshi wrestling. She is the rising tide that lifts all ships. She is the sun god that nurtures the plants, that from the seeds in the soil to the ones that have already blossomed. She brings them warmth and life and energy and the oxygen that we all breathe. She is the woman that is going to make people care about Joshi, no matter where she is, no matter how big, how small the promotion is, no matter how big, how small the match may seem on paper, she brings it. We saw that against Ron. We've seen that against the rookies that she's faced. We've seen that in the way she's elevated talent across the board. So now, to the Stardom roster, to the women of Blue Stars B, when Sari looks you up and down your face and says with no regard, without even looking in your direction because she has no care about you, doesn't even see what people, says to you, your wrestling sucks, says to you, your vision sucks, says to you, the way you move forward and what you rely on is a foundation that is unstable and that I am here to wreck it and to build anew. What are you going to do about that? Are you going to step up and embrace and fight and tear and reinforce your pillars, or are you gonna be burned? It's step up or step out against the sun god. And I think that's why this block is something that must be watched. That's why Stardom must be watched. And yes, of course, I will never, and I mean never, take away from the other wonderful women we've talked about. Saya Kamitani is one of the biggest draws in Japan, regardless of gender. Natsupoi is someone who has uplifted this promotion and made people feel something for it. Saya, Ida, Hanan, so many wonderful women on this roster making Stardom what it is. The greatness, despite some of its shortcomings over the recent years. Yet Sari, the sun god, the savior of Joshi professional wrestling, is here to bless not just Stardom, but us, the fans. But most importantly, bless professional wrestling. And I think it is through her vision that we see a future. And I think that we will see that through this block, and we will see that through the rest of this year. We will see that through her as IWGP Women's Champion. Sari is the way forward.
She has said to me many times she wants to make the Zenjo spirit of all Japan women's live on forever. And that is her wrestling. That is the wrestling she is about to bring to this block. That is the wrestling she has already brought to Stardom. That is the wrestling that she is bringing to Saya Kamitani one way or another. And I think we all know that very, very soon. All right, 6-star. I'm going to give you my most look forward to match of this block. I said earlier it wasn't going to be with Momo. I think that's an easy pick. I think that's the obvious pick. Mm-hmm. Because it's probably going to be the best match, quite frankly.
Yeah,
that is my replacement this year for the Mayu Momo match that will not be happening. You know, because that was always the guarantee. Like, here we go, this is going to be it, and they always put on a show. Now this one's very unique. It's very new, but their styles clash. But I bring you to day 5, August 3rd, in Tochigi. The hometown of Hina. The hometown of Hina. Hina in her hometown goes 1-on-1 with the Sun God.
Scotty,
That's
you're
my
not gonna believe me.
I know that was your pick. I
That
know
was literally my pick, Scotty. We're too locked in. We're too
too
locked
locked
in.
To just give another one, just to be fair, since we'll both give another one, since we're both locked in on that. I mean, not to cheat here, but
Three
KBS
scissors.
Hall. All right, you took it. Sounds good. Well,
I
that isn't
had to say
KBS
it.
Hall.
I had to say it before you.
And I'm just gonna take the Momo match, man. The Momo match happens at Yokohama Budokan. I can't wait for that. It's gonna be a great tournament. It's gonna be a great tournament. I will say this. I think a match everyone should have their eyes on is Momo versus Hina. There's a lot of comparisons people are making to Hina right now to Momo Watanabe when she was Wonder Stardom champion. I think that's a fascinating combination. I think there's a lot of comparisons there that make a lot of sense. I'm looking forward to that match. I'm looking forward to seeing how that one goes. But 6-star has picked Sari versus Suzu. We've collectively picked Hina versus Sari. Obviously, collectively we've picked Sari versus Momo Watanabe as well. Shocker, we're picking a lot of Sari matches.
Dude, she's the sun god.
I
I
know.
just did an entire 2-minute spiel off the dome that I wasn't even planning to do.
You don't gotta tell me
She
twice.
just
You know
spoke
my
through me.
appreciation for the sun god. I don't know. I sometimes the only thing people care about are my sun god takes at this point. But let's look at the first night of the 5-star Grand Prix, which takes place this Sunday. Shout out to Dylan Murray for bringing us this wonderful looking document. You can follow him and find that at XX Ichiban. So the opening night is as follows. Red Stars A. You have Saya Kamatani versus Lady C. Mei Sarah versus Waka Tsukiyama. Azusa Naba versus Hanan. Bea Priestley versus Yuna Mizumori. In Red Stars B, you have Starlight Kid versus Tomoka Naba. Maybe your favorite to main event there. Rina versus Rian. Azumi versus Natsuko Tora. And Natsupoi versus Sayaka Karara. In Blue Stars A, you got Saya Ida versus Sariano. You have Miyu Amasaki versus Yuri Hime. Ami Sourei goes one-on-one with Aya Sakura, and Bozilla goes one-on-one with Ruaka. And then in Blue Stars B, you have Momokogo versus Momo Watanabe, Sari versus Konami, Hina versus Suzuki, and Hanako versus Rana Yagami. Let's now look at the final nights because I think the final night is very important as well. In Hamamatsu, you have 3 matches per block. 6-star, give me your favorite upset of this show because there's gonna be an upset.
My favorite upset of this show is going to be. I mean, we already discussed earlier. Sayakura is
yes,
beating Azumi.
That's the pick. That's the pick. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. I agree. So from there, I go back to the blocks real quick before we kind of get into picking our winners and such. Oh, by the way, the 3 that are advancing here are Sari, Momo, and Suzu. Thank you.
Yes, we did not say that earlier, but we're obviously both agree.
Yeah. I want you to pick an MVP per block, starting with Red Stars A. Who do you think will be the MVP in terms of just match quality?
Mei
Red Stars A. Mei Sarah. My pick will be none other than Saya Kamatani because Mei Sarah would have been my pick otherwise, and I'm trying to be different, which is fair. Red Stars B. I don't need to ask you. Natsupoi.
Natsupoi, yeah.
You know, Starlight Kid's probably a favorite for many, but listen, favoritism's a hell of a thing. I'm picking Rina. I think Rina and the uniqueness of each opponent will do a lot of good for her. Blue Stars A, my MVP, and we talked about this earlier. We don't have to name another one. We both said Saida like 10 times.
Yeah.
This is
I'll shout out Miyu Amasaki though.
Miyu Amasaki's a great shout. I think Sayori has a great shout as well. It's a really fun block. And then it just runs in the best friends, you know, the two best friends, Natsupoi and Sari, leading the way as MVPs. We don't gotta sugarcoat that one. So that brings us to this once again. We talk about the final. We talk about how we think it breaks down. I I think it's fascinating who could be in the final this year in the perfect matchup, but that comes with the winner. So, 6-star, I ask you, knowing your answer, because I'm not dumb, and then everyone could probably figure it out. But 6-star, I want you to give us your winner and who she defeats in the final.
I think the winner of the 2025 5-star Grand Prix will be none other than Natsupoi. And I think Natsupoi will defeat Sari in the finals.
Whoo, baby. Oh, I like that. That's exciting. That is an exciting one. I hope that happens. I hope that happens. Now, let me ask you, do you think the winner of this tournament, no matter who it is, right? You pick Poi, but no matter who it is, do you think they actually wait to challenge at Stardom Dream Queendom this year?
I'll give two answers, which is cheap. I think
Depends on the person.
Depends on the person. I think it depends on if they want the winner to beat Saya. If the winner's beating Saya,
gotta be Queen.
Yes, it's gonna be Queendom. If not, they'll challenge at the next big show and lose.
Yeah, I'll tell everyone very easily to go check this show out about my idea regarding Natsupoi and her arc. I don't think this first Queendom show is hers. I think All Star Grand Queendom is hers. I think that's the day she beats Saya Kamatani for the world title.
I'm gonna be honest. I've slowly felt that way myself too, but I'm not giving up hope until the last night of the 5-star Grand Prix.
I have two pitches for the Stardom Dream Queendom main event here. One is a returning Micah. I know they've said full year. Listen, wrestling injuries, people lie to me, okay? They always said John Cena would be out for a year. He was out 3 months. You never know. I think Micah versus Saya Kamatani is well in the possibilities. I also think Saya Kamatani versus Sari is the biggest match in professional wrestling, and that should be happening in Ryogoku Sumo Hall if we're going to put it somewhere. Do you agree on that statement?
I agree on that statement.
So if you've listened to Stardom Quest, you've heard who I picked as the winner on there. It's different from who I'm picking today.
You're such a beast.
Because I've thought about it. It's marinated.
You're such a beast.
What would 2025 Stardom do?
Oh, I know. Oh,
Stardom do. What would make the most sense? How do we get to a potential Saya Kamatani Sari match? Sure, Sari could win. Or Saya Kamatani could win the tournament. Also, kind of badass photo. Shouts out to Hate.
Shouts out to Hate.
My pick to win this tournament, because I think this year is very much a toss-up, for better or worse. I've heard the nods for Ami Sourei. I think that's a possibility, not for Queendom, but definitely to elevate her. I think Hanan, who I picked on the Stardom Quest, is a great shout. I think Starlight Kid is truly a great shout. I think Sari is a great shout. I think Natsupoi is a fantastic shout. And in my heart of hearts, I'd love Momo Watanabe to win. I'm not crazy, but I'd love it to happen. So I debated in my head, how do we get there, 6-star? How do we get to what I think will be the main event of Stardom, Stardom Dream Queen? You have the woman that said, I didn't really want to be in the tournament to begin with, but I'll do it because I'm getting double the money. Stardom wants that Tokyo Sports Women's MVP award back in the Stardom banner. Sari rattled them last year, taking that from the Stardom world. It had been since 2018, I believe, 2017 or 2018, that they didn't get that award. Isn't that pretty incredible?
That's incredible.
Do I think Saya Kamatani needs to win the 5-star Grand Prix to get it? No. But do I think it'll just help her odds if she gets it? Sure will. And what perfect way to then celebrate a Tokyo Sports Women's MVP win. And hey, I'll do you one better, 6-star. what better way to celebrate a potential Tokyo Sports overall MVP win than doing Saya Kamatani versus Sari, Stardom Dream Queendom, World of Stardom Championship, IWGP Women's Championship, double title, main event. You know that's the match they're building to. That is the biggest match in Joshi, undeniably. Undeniably.
Biggest match in wrestling.
Absolutely. So I'm picking Saya Kamatani. Why? What do I have to lose? I picked Ruaka to win the Cinderella this year. At least I'm picking someone that I know is going to make it to the next round. You know, like that works for me. And I think Saya Kamatani winning again fits what Stardom is this year. It's her company. It's her year. She retired Tam Nakano at the biggest show of the year. She's defeated Natsupoi. She's defeated Sayaka Karara. She's defeated Tam 100 times. This is the woman they want leading into the future. And while I would love to elevate someone, while I'd love to do all these different things, I don't know. I just can't shake the idea that just maybe, Saya Kamatani wins the whole thing. Listen, Micah lost the world title last year, walked into the tournament the next week, went undefeated, and then challenged and lost 2 weeks later. Anything is possible with how this company books now. Anything is possible.
Anything. I got to say something for the people at home. Earlier, when Scott was ripping up, I said, "Oh, brother," not because I think it's a bad idea. In fact, I said, "Oh, brother," because I'm going to let y'all peek behind the curtains a bit during a strategy call we were having last night, 2 nights ago, one of those two. I literally said this idea. Scott and I were talking about. Scott and I were talking about how they're building the Saya and Sari. I said Saya's gonna win the 5-star. And she's gonna challenge Sari for that belt. So that's why I said that earlier. Of course, I'm gonna be honest. When I said I have full faith Natsupoi will win because I will always have faith Natsupoi will win. That said, I'm gonna be honest. This kind of feels like the direction. Now it's not what I'm. Again, Natsupoi 5-star, not flinching. Not flinching.
You'll never flinch.
No.
It'd be really funny if the winner was in this picture and not Saya. I'll take credit still.
Rena.
Okay.
Rena,
so let me throw this idea out to you. The Cinderella tournament winner challenged for the World of Stardom title. What is stopping the 5-star winner from challenging for the Wonder?
Nothing.
If Rena were to win this tournament, I don't think that's happening. But if she was, that's the belt she's challenging for, right?
Yeah.
If Holland wins this tournament, we don't know which belt she challenged for. There's a lot of possibilities. Probably Big Red, but
I have a question for you, Scotty.
Told the story. Yeah, I'm listening.
Let's say Saya wins, which is your pick, and what to me feels like a very likely outcome. Awesome. Saya is like, if it's not Natsupoi, it's Saya to me. Like genuinely.
Yeah.
I mean, Natsupoi has been my pick to win the 5-star since the beginning of the year. Not just because I love Natsupoi, because I'm like, they're telling a story of Tam retiring. Yeah. I also think that her beating Saya at Grand Queendom,
feels right.
That's real wrestling. But my question for you is, which belt gets retired?
Yeah, see, I don't like that question because I'm scared I don't want to know the real answer. I have had fear in my heart that the red belt will disappear. Because I know Bushiroad obviously holds high prestige for IWGP, right? Obviously, the wrestling world holds high prestige for IWGP. Those letters mean a lot. And I would be heartbroken in many ways if Sari and Mayu, especially Mayu's run with that belt, kind of disappeared. But I'd be even more heartbroken if the legacy of the World of Stardom Championship disappeared. That has been the world title for years. The belt, right? The names that have held that belt include Mayu Iwatani, Io Shirai, Kairi, Saya Kamatani, Tommy Hayashishita, Shuri, Nanai Takahashi. The list goes on and on and on.
I mean,
Right?
yeah.
You can't get rid of the World of Stardom Championship. You just can't. I do fear, though, that could be the direction.
Yeah. So like to your point, a big thing with this current regime has been phasing out remnants of old Stardom, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you know, maybe the world title is something so important that it supersedes that, but you know, we've seen the like the ending of Queen's Quest, something that you would have asked me that 2 years ago, I would have said never in a million years. After the cage match, never.
Right.
That faction will live till the day Stardom dies.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I mean, I'm not trying to compare a faction to a title, but both those things hold a lot of importance. Queen's Quest was the defining group of Stardom in multiple different periods of its existence, whether a world champion at the time was holding it or not, holding the belt or not. That faction, Stardom revolved around it for many years across different leaders. And again, I'm not trying to liken that to the world title, but what I'm trying to say is, if one very historic thing can go, I don't see why another couldn't. Now, that being said, I would love for the World of Stardom title to stick around. But to your point, I don't see Bushiroad saying we're getting rid of an IWGP belt.
No. And hey, there's a reality they don't get rid of either. Right?
That's true.
There's a reality they don't get rid of either. They keep both belts. I just, for now, right now, I see them wanting to give Saya as much as possible. And here's the thing, I can't argue with it. I'm not going to argue with it. I'm actually saying you should probably do that.
If they don't unify the belts, they could, let's say your vision goes through, they could have Saya drop the red belt next year at Grand Prix to Natsupoi and still be IWGP Women's Champion.
Yeah, they could.
Still go on to be a top of the card act with a championship, just not the world one. And that still works because the IWGP Women's Championship and its lineage is essentially a second world title to Stardom, even if it's not always treated that way by the bookers. It's always treated that way by the talent.
Absolutely.
That said, I hope neither of the belts is retired. I think the IWGP Women's Championship is like the prettiest belt in wrestling.
Yeah, it's
so nice, and I've been saying that since it got unveiled. I think it's gorgeous. That said, 5-star Grand Prix 2025 definitely looks like a step up from last year's. I hope next year it goes back to 2 blocks. But I think doing this
may have perfectly teased my winner, by the way, with the graphics. So just saying, man, you know. I mean, they just looked awesome. I also want both hate t-shirts. Thank you for asking, everyone. Yes,
Scotty. After doing this preview, do you feel more, less, or the same amount of excitement for the 5-star GP?
I feel more. I feel more excitement. I think talking to you, talking it through, naturally working my ass off to get myself hyped for a tournament I am breaking down each and every day that there's a show. I think I'm naturally more talented. I'm at a nice 8. I think there's obviously ways we could always improve, which is detracting a number of people. But at the same time, I'm very excited for the top matches. Listen, every single day has an exciting match. I wasn't going to do this, but like day 1, excited for the likes of a Saida versus Sariano. I think Sari is going to get something great out of Konami. Starlight Kid versus Tomoki Naba is a match I've been waiting all year for. You go to day 2. I mean, there's some matches that jump off the page, including a Cinderella tournament final rematch between Carrara and Rina. I think that's exciting. Azumi versus Tomoki Naba. I think that's exciting. Saya Kamitani versus Yuna Mizumori. That's real graps, folks. Come on now. That's real. Then you look at day 3. I wasn't going to go through this whole thing, but guess what? Now I am, because I'm already you have Suri versus Rana Yagami. That's going to be a lot of fun. You have Suriano versus Miyu Amasaki. I was
about to bring that one up.
You have Saida versus Ami Sourei. That's a powerhouse fest right there. That's going to be great.
Running back Rana and Suri is something I'm really looking forward to.
Day 4. Day 4 is the best show on the entire docket, and it includes Waka versus B. and it's in the Sendai pit. But you look at these matches, it's hard to deny. You have Azumi versus Starlight Kid in a smaller, shorter, high-speed affair because you know they're going to go fast. You have Natsupoi versus Tomoki Naba. I mean, come on, 6-star.
Come
I know that speaks to
on.
you. Saya
That,
Kamitani versus Zusa Naba. I mean, that's exciting. May Sarah versus Hanan, 2 years in the making, 6-star. We've been waiting. It's here. Here's me giving your final push, your final hype for this tournament. Day 5. This is a split show, so this is 2 shows. Sari versus Hina. Momo versus Suzu. I mean, again, come on, folks. Bozilla versus Miyu Amasaki just jumps off the page. I don't know why. It just
no,
excites
it does. It does.
You go to the night show, May Sarah versus Yuna Mizumori. You know that's going to be a 7-minute
It's gonna rule.
slugfest.
It's gonna rule.
You have Rina versus Tomoki Naba. I mean, come on. You have Natsupoi versus Azumi.
Yeah.
You have Starlight Kid versus Sayaka Kurara, right? Day 6, you head to Cork and Hall.
6.
Instantly, everything's elevated. Sayori versus Bozilla. Rana versus Momo. Saya versus Hanan. Right? You get the point. Azumi versus Rina. Like, there's all these different things.
Unimon and Azusa Naba on that show, too, by the way.
That's real, too. And I think B. Priestley's best match happens on that show against May Sarah.
I agree.
At Corkin, big time. Look at KBS Hall. Ida versus Amasaki. Aya versus Bozilla. Momo versus Hanako. Sari versus Suzu. Hina versus Rana should be really good, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Okayama Day 8. Starlight Kid versus Natsuko Tora should be fun, right? There's history there. Poi versus Rina. I mean, that's me. That's me in 6 Rina. Right there. Like, that's what it's all about. Kurara versus Naba should be a lot of fun. May Sarah versus Naba should be fun. You see this? Every show has something that jumps off the page here, folks. Ayasaka versus Seriano leads off on day 9. Let's see what else. Momo versus Hina, like I talked about earlier. Saida versus Bozilla. Come on. Yokohama Budokan, I mean, we talked about that a lot. Saya versus May Sarah, match I've been waiting for. Saida versus Ayasaka. Sari versus Momo Watanabe. Starlight Kid versus Rina. You get my point. And day 11, the last day here. Hana versus Yuna Mizumori. That's exciting. Ami Soiree versus Bozilla. Looking forward to that one. Miyu Amasaki versus Ayasakura. Starlight Kid versus Natsupoi. I mean, hello, folks. Azumi versus Sayaka Kurara. I think that'll be an exciting one. Sari versus Momo Kogo fascinates me. That might be a 5-minute pack up, but it's going to be fun. You know, like Rana versus Suzu. Like, there is something every single day of this tournament. And I think that's the biggest difference between this year and last year for me. Last year, when we got to Blue Days, you never knew what you were going to get, right? Because 6-star, if you remember, we were watching Saya Kamitani learn how to be a heel.
Yes, we were.
Suzu Suzuki was not who she is, right? She came back from injury right before. She was working through a lot of things. Tekla was there.
2024 Stardom Tekla was
like a lot of the best matches from those that I remember came from Blue Stars. Because you had Shuri, you had Sayori, you had Xena. Shouts out Xena. We miss Xena desperately. I do miss Xena a lot. I hope she's doing well. But it was never the best because Red Stars was always the best. Red Stars was the day you're like, okay, there's 2 matches here that are going to jump off, or 3 matches here jumping off the page, right? This year, there's something each and every day to get excited about, and I think that's why I'm hyped for this tournament. I'm going with 8. I'm super excited for what this tournament's going to be. I'm super excited to have talked about this with you. Has your raise? I know you were at a 7 before. Have you went up, or are you sticking there?
So in theme with what I've been saying throughout the show, which is hopeful and skeptical, I'm at a hopeful and skeptical. I've moved up to an 8 from my 7. I think part of it is, talking to you, obviously, you and I very excited about very similar things, talking about our favorite wrestlers. That helps. I think it'll probably split between 7 and 8 throughout the rest of the week leading up until the GP, to be honest with you, because yes, a lot of things about the page. Again, I'm looking at some of these matches and I'm very, very excited, but part of me is still, and it's not fair to it's not fair to the GP that we have, but like, I still think about the GP we could have had a lot. Like, I'm looking at these names and these matches and I'm like, well, imagine these in blocks where it's all shooters,
True.
Which is not me hating. Again, I tried to make it as clear as possible. I am excited for this GP. I am excited for the opportunities for all of the rookies and the new gens that get a placement in this tournament that they would not have otherwise gotten if it was smaller. It just, I don't like 4-block formats. I don't like them. I didn't like it last year, and I was open about it. I didn't like it 2 years ago, 3 years ago. I don't remember when the G1 did it. And I, even with one that will have as many matchups as this, I can't help but think that a 2-block made up of these women could have been a lot better, which is not me saying this is going to be bad, but rather that my own personal excitement is hindered by the fact that the block format is not bringing out the best out of the Grand Prix formula. That said, I'm at about an 8 right now. I think a lot of these matches are going to look really awesome, especially like considering the matches I'm going to be seeing a lot of these rookies having, as again, someone whose main form of enjoyment in Joshi wrestling is watching rookies improve. This is going to be a really fun tournament for me. That said, definitely feel an improvement in my excitement. Feel increased
Happy
excitement.
we could do that together. Help each other get more excited. I think that's really cool to see. So before we get out of here, let me do some more cheap plugs. I'll kick it over to you in a second because your plug is the more the one that's coming up. So I think that's very important. But before that, I'll pitch some of the videos that have come out the past few weeks that you should check out. First up, last week we had to check it out, celebrating the anniversary of Utami Hayashishita versus EO Sky. That was with Dylan. That was a lot of fun. As I hinted out earlier, if you want to check out the State of High Speed, you're welcome for bringing it back. I know some people might get mad at that. I didn't actually bring it back, but it is funny timing that we got a high speed title match finally. So what can I say except you're welcome? Thank you. That's my wonderful singing voice. If you want to learn more about Marigold, if you want to learn about more Marigold ahead of the Dreamstar Grand Prix, which to follow Six Stars point, if you want to see a tournament with a lot of rookies learning along the way and improving, this is the tournament to do it. Check it out. Check out the beginner's guide to Marigold right here on the YouTube channel right now. And then, like I said, if you can't wait for Friday when the 5-Star Joshi show drops and I'll review the whole show, go check out the Check It Out version of Saya Kamatani versus Natsupoi from Stardom Sapporo Rendezvous 2025. Some quick programming notes before I head over to 6-Star. This Sunday, the first daily review for the 5-Star Grand Prix will be available on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/@ScottEWrestling, if you're listening to the podcast version of this audio. That will be out, and every show, every day after, they'll be released. So keep an eye out for those. Next week as well, probably Monday, the Dream Star Grand Prix preview will be out. Looking forward to doing that one as well. And then, of course, the following weekend, those daily reviews will start as well. Every Friday, the 5-Star Joshi show drops. So, with all that, lots of plugs. My apologies, folks. It's the busiest time of year, and I'm very excited about it. 6-Star. I talked about it earlier, but I'll let you do the final plug here. Let the people know where they can find you, what you have coming up, and all that good stuff.
Well, before what I have coming up, you can follow me right here at 6-Star Poi on at 6-Star Poi on Twitter. I will occasionally have impulses to tweet on that account. I'll be honest, I'm not as super duper active, but if you want to know what I'm doing, I'll be there. And if you want to, shoot me a message or reply, I'll probably respond. I love talking about wrestling with people, so you can find me at 6-Star Poi. You can also find me over on the Late Night Grin. If you're interested in what I've been doing recently over there, I was featured in their June match recommendation reviews over on LNG Productions, the second channel, where I talked about Shuri versus Suri 2. I also last week did an all-time women's wrestling draft on the Late Night Grin last Friday. Watch that and check it out if you want to see the best roster in wrestling history, booked by me, booked by yours truly. You should check that out. It's a very fun video. I won't say whether I won or I lost because I don't want to spoil it for you, but I will say, especially for anyone who's watching this show, trust me, I have an amazing roster covering things from All Japan Women's to 2010s Stardom to current freelancing. I have great
Not to
stuff.
spoil anything, but you drafted Ariso Shiki, so
I did. I did.
Come on now.
And of course, this Thursday on the Late Night Grin, 7 p.m. PST, 10 p.m. EST, I will be hosting a Summer Joshi Grand Preview where myself, alongside Scott E Wrestling and the lovely, magnificent Lyric Wrestling, will be covering the 5-star and Dreamstar GPs from Stardom and Marigold. So, yes, you might have heard our thoughts on the 5-star, but this will be a different format. We'll be talking about it in different ways. And, of course, you're going to get me in a different point. Maybe I'm feeling much more excited about it going 2 days in. Maybe something happens and I'm feeling a lot less excited going in.
That is the day of the Gorkin.
So strap up and come listen. I think it's going to be a really, really fun time. It'll be my first time hosting something on the Late Night Grin, so I really hope that everyone comes and listens. I promise you, super fun, super interactive chat and everything. And I really hope to see you all there for the Joshi Summer Grand Preview.
It's really hard to say. That's a tongue twister for me. Like
Joshi Summer Grand Preview.
Well, now it's easy because you said it, but like I was trying to remember it. Anyways, if you want more from me and Six together, go check that out. It should be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. I appreciate the invite. Should be a lot of fun. I'm going to be exhausted by the time we start recording that. Because I have a long day and I got to record the 5-star that day. So, but hey, I will do anything for my good friend Six. Six asked me. Easy yes. That's what I do. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to a 6-star hosted show. I've never been a part of one of those. Usually it's me. So that's kind of the fun part for me. That was the easy yes for me. I was like, ooh, I don't have to host. Hell yeah. But thank you everyone for listening. Like I said, a lot's coming up. So subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I want to thank everyone for getting us over the 600 mark. If that dropped since the time I released this video, hurtful, but that's okay. I appreciate everyone that's been supporting me. It's been a long week, as I talked about in the Saya Not Spoy video, but I hear you all. I appreciate you all. It means the world. The fact that I even have 100 subscribers on a channel all by myself is pretty cool. So thank you everyone for listening. Get ready for the 5-star this Sunday live on pay-per-view. I can't wait. I know 6-star can't wait. It's the best time of the year to be a Joshi fan. So with that, so long. See you later.
Bye, boy.